Staples in bread? How the heck?
Deanna, I don't even know how to talk about your service. That was just 100% not acceptable. The very first thing that came out of your mouth after stating how did the staples get in there was that there's no staples on this premise. And you guys didn't even have the decency to say I'm sorry?
I don't understand why you're so upset that you didn't get the full meal comped the minute that the staples showed up.
Racism is so illogical. Now you're gonna have to find out.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Selena and today we are talking about Longhorn. No, it's not Longhorn. Today we are talking about Texas Roadhouse and what they did and didn't do. So if you haven't seen this story on TikTok, it has been going around. It is very fresh from the time I'm filming this video, end of August. Basically, Texas Roadhouse had staples in their rolls and this lady, Maya, her little sister, and her mom went to Texas Roadhouse. This is something that their family does frequently. They love it there. They have some good bread, I'm not gonna lie. When they were eating, her little sister, she bit into the bread roll. There were staples in the bread, and these staples were not used. They haven't punctured anything. They were kind of in their roll and like spread throughout. Now, there's a lot of backstory into this, and she does provide more pictures and video footage of them talking to the managers. So I'm just gonna let them tell their story and we're gonna discuss what happened, in my opinion. Check this out.
Never in a million years would I be thinking that I would be sitting here making this video, but this video is to Texas Roadhouse in Walpole, and this is specifically at the staff Deanna, which is a manager, and then Crystal, who is also a manager, and they worked today, August 27th, at around 7 to 8 p.m. while I was there. But anyways, so everything was fine, and then we got our second batch of bread. We all started eating, you know, nothing was wrong with the first batch, and then boom, my sister until my sister, she's chewing her bread. You know, usually my mom, she cuts it up, puts the butter on. My sister's 6 years old, so obviously she's not doing that herself. And mid-bite, my sister's like, ow, like there's something hard in here. So my mom takes the bun to inspect it. We open the bun to find staples. We find staples, like, baked into the bread. Like,
yeah, thank goodness she didn't bite the whole bite.
Right, because that could have been, literally staples could have been in my sister's throat right now. So we didn't want to make a big deal out of it. Obviously mistakes happen. We're just praying to God, like, you know, there's no more staples. We're thanking God that she didn't swallow that part. Luckily she just bit into it and felt the staple. So we grabbed someone and we're like, can we just have a manager real quick? A manager comes over and we're showing her, and mind you, I'm gonna put all the clips in this video. We're showing her this right here. I don't know how it happened, but it's unacceptable. It has us kind of scared to bite into the rest of the bread. Like, I don't know how this could have happened. She takes a look and there's not even one, but there are several staples in there. There's like a pack, like a ripped off pack of staples in the bread. So she's like, yeah, this is absolutely unacceptable. I'm gonna go ahead and comp your whole order. This should not have happened. What I'm thinking, like my speculation, is that when the cookers were making the bread, when they opened the bag, the staples from the bag ripped out and fell into the dough. So we're like, yeah, that does seem kind of logical, or maybe someone was stapling something, they got out and, you know, just fell in the dough. She's like, yeah, like I completely agree, but, you know, this is a crazy freak accident and we're gonna comp your bill. So everything was fine. A second manager then comes over and then she's like, so I'm just concerned.
How did the staples get in the bun? How about you tell me? Yeah, how did these staples get in my baby's bun?
And she goes, well, this is a staple-free premise, so we don't have no staples in this building.
There's staples on some paperwork at a table right next to us.
Clock it, and I got photos. I'm putting every photo in this. There was literally staples lying right on a desk, right like next to us. Like, you can't lie about that.
Mind you, she tries to ask, did we bring any staples in, or was my little one playing with the machines? Does your machine have staples in it?
Right. Mind you, these are just the things that you put the coin in and get like a little rubber duck from. How would my sister have gotten staples? And if you check the camera, we were running inside because they had texted us to come inside. We were like, oh, let's not waste our time. So we went straight to the reservation desk. My sister did not play with this, touch with this. We literally went straight to be serviced. Like, there was no stopping and picking up staples so that she could put in bread.
What kills me is just, you know, the lack of accountability. We went, you know, we go there all the time. Matter of fact, me and the little one was there 2 days prior. We eat at this restaurant every freaking week.
But let me say, if anybody knows me, they know that Texas Roadhouse is my last name. You can ask how many friends have gone to Texas Roadhouse with me. Everybody knows, like, I've been on that saddle every year for my birthday since I was like ordering off the kids menu, before my mom even allowed me and my friends to order off the adults menu. I've been at Texas Roadhouse. It's not about a free meal. It was just about the lack of accountability. she came over here talking about she's concerned of how the staples got there. Okay, I'm kind of concerned too. And I don't know why you're saying like, oh, well, this is a staple-free premise when we literally have proof of staples. And you guys have stapled things right on your board, like with thumbtacks and everything. So you literally are lying out your teeth.
And then the contradicting statements, because Crystal says that when they're making the bread, that it's possible they ripped the bag open, the packaging of the bread or whatever in the kitchen, and that staples could have got into the bread mix or whatever. But then here comes Deanna saying, yeah, we don't have staples. I mean, so which one is it?
Which one is it? Do y'all bags got staples or do they not? And then, so basically, the check comes and only one meal was comped. We're not mad about paying the bill. We had full intent on coming to pay what we ordered. So it was just like kind of shocking that the first manager, Crystal, had relayed that we were getting a comped meal. This should never have happened. There shouldn't have been no close call like this. Okay, perfect. Like we're not gonna get up and leave. She said if we still wanted to stay, she was gonna comp our meal. We stayed. It's just an accident. So then we got the bill and only one little meal was comped out. So we grabbed the manager Deanna again and we're like, hey, we're not trying to be, like spiteful, but I'm just confused as to how one manager is telling me that we're getting a comped meal for this and now it's only one thing that was comped. And Deanna had the nerve to say she doesn't feel comfortable with comping the meal because for one, my sister wasn't injured by the incident that occurred, or because she knows that there's no staples on the premise.
Well, let's talk about injury. Just because she didn't hurt her tongue right in the moment does not mean an injury didn't occur. What if someone pricked theirself with the staples, got blood on it, and now stuck it in my baby's bun? You tell me, is there going to be an injury?
And why would we come with staples and give it to the 6-year-old out of us three? Out of me, my mom, and my little sister, why would I put staples in the bread that she was gonna eat? If I wanted to get the money, do you think I would give it to her? What? No. And if Deanna, if you have kids, if that was your kid that almost had a staple, do you think that you would be fine with getting told that you don't feel comfortable or the waitress doesn't feel comfortable with comping your meal? Nah, like you guys are gonna get held accountable.
And I also get it that, I'm sure restaurants deal with a lot of customers coming in there doing some bogus crap like that. But unfortunately, you do have some actual honest customers who believe in telling the truth. I'm a God-fearing woman and I don't lie. So just the fact that I was just looking for accountability and a level of respect. It wasn't about a free meal, but just acknowledging, I'm sorry, we don't know how this got in your daughter's bun. We'll make sure it doesn't happen again. And that would have been fine until Deanna came back and kind of took back what we thought we were getting accountability from Crystal. And then now their words are contradicting each other. And that's where it's, now, yes, I was pressuring the meal being free, because honor your word. Be respectful. Honor your word. All you have is your word.
And she said that she's trying to figure out where the staples came from. And I was like, if that's what you're trying to do, I suggest you looking at the cameras to see what happened in the kitchen, because we didn't walk in this freaking building with no staples. Why? Just why? They were at Texas Roadhouse 2 days ago. Like, make it make sense. So this is literally at Deanna. She was wearing a black shirt and she had a black visor and she had long earrings that dangled on her ear. And this is at Crystal, who I was literally just complimenting up front about how pretty her mascara looks. I have no bitterness, no ill intent, no nothing. I didn't come in there to scam. You could tell my energy was welcoming from when I walked in. I was literally like, girl, your mascara looks so beautiful. Like, she put me on to which one it was. I wasn't there to cause no problems. It's the fact that y'all can't hold y'all staff accountable. And I bet if this Deanna was in our situation, it wouldn't have been the same. And she would have been mad for her daughter or son as well. So this is unacceptable, Texas Roadhouse. This happened at the Texas Roadhouse in Walpole, Massachusetts.
Hi there. How can I help you over here? So we just had one question, because we were told by the previous manager that we did speak to that the entire meal would be comp. So we were just kind of curious as to where it went from comp to just one meal comp. But she said the entire meal would be taken care of. Okay. She doesn't feel like that's what she had said, so I can certainly grab her if you like. Okay. But I'm just not comfortable comping your whole meal for something, that didn't quite, there was no injury or things like that, so that's why I took the kids' meal off, in good faith, of what could have possibly been an issue, but I'm not comfortable comping her whole meal tonight. Okay. Okay. It was just a matter of, it's just that one spoke prematurely, so it's just a matter of honor what you said. Yeah. Like, we didn't come with it. Even when I addressed it, I told her that we didn't, we come here all the time. We don't need a free meal, but because she said that, it was just to honor what you said. Okay. For sure. Yeah, that's not, that wasn't the conversation, that she had with me. So I can definitely grab her so that we can clarify that, okay? Okay, it seems like we're here. She also said that it was that the bags being the staples, and now you guys are completely contradicting each other. Yeah, so I will tell you again, I'm the managing partner. I worked for the company for 17 years, so I'm very thorough in the kitchen. She's actually not trained to work the kitchen. But she must know to say, then how would she even be able to speak on bags being
opening, if she's not in the kitchen, how does she even know how things are prepared or what packaged is? So it seems like she knew something, and then we speak to you, and it's saying the opposite of what she said. And that's where we're getting frustrated at now. Is both conversations are contradicting each other.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And again, that's great feedback that I can follow up with her because again, she has never worked a day in bake in her life. And you know, it is very possible that she did try and solve the issue with things that she thought that she was aware of. Hey, Crystal. They said you told them you were going to comp their whole bill. So you're not upset that you said that.
Yeah, I said I would call, but I have to go check with my partner first.
No, so I think that might.
I don't remember.
That was it.
That was
Maybe
insane.
there was that's where the confusion was. So, like I said, I have documented everything. I've comped what I feel comfortable with for tonight. And if you need anything else, I'm certainly here to answer any questions.
Okay. And I'm sorry, what was your name again too? Crystal. Okay, Deanna and Crystal, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys.
Yeah,
We're all set.
absolutely.
I know, I'm glad you didn't. Because if you would have took a bite that had the staples in it, how the heck? Staples in bread? What?
I feel like there's one answer to this. Texas Roadhouse, all they had to do was provide customer service and service recovery, and if they were just to do their job, it would have been fine. This family was not complaining. They were calm, cool, collected. They just said, hey ma'am, like we found staples in this. Crystal, the first manager, said she was going to comp the whole meal, their experience, and they would have kept it moving. They're like, you know, it's not necessarily about the money or the food, but the manager said that this is what they were going to do. And they get back and it's just the little sister's meal, about $7, taken off of the bill. Which, that whole staple in the bread thing doesn't only affect the daughter, it affects the whole experience from a company standpoint. And of course it affects the health of the whole family. They're going to be worried about that daughter or sister. They're going to be concerned if she accidentally had staples that she swallowed and things like that. But also, from Texas Roadhouse's business standpoint, they should be concerned about the reviews, the word of mouth, and things like that. I think Crystal was probably the better manager in this situation, and she was like so sorry, so confused. But the fact that Deanna was like accusatory, oh, was your daughter playing with the machines? Was your daughter around staples? We don't have staples in our restaurant. That makes no sense, okay? I'm sure you have staples to put together like employee packets during orientation or employee paperwork. She even said it could be a staple from the bread bag or the dough to make the bread rolls. But are those even stapled? Like when I worked in food service in a hospital, the other food service places, I don't think we had staples, but if anything, it was just frozen dough coming into a box and then you use a box cutter to open up the box. I can't think of many products that would have those types of staples, but staples are everywhere. Anywhere that you have to do paperwork or anywhere with an HR, I assume has staples. Staples are... I'm sorry. And it doesn't even have to be an office setting for a place to have staples, okay? And if you don't have staples, then what are you using? Paper clips? Anyways, I just thought it was very accusatory, and they try to be slick about it and just take off the daughter's meal. Like, that is so bad. I questioned if there were some microaggressions there. I don't think Maya and her family questioned it. They just thought that there's malice intent because why would you say that and then go back on your word? But we clock things here, and so I'm curious about that.
If you go to Texas Roadhouse and you find staples in your food, buy. You don't need to comp my meal. You don't need to offer me a car. I'm leaving. And I don't need this to happen to me to know that me and my family are not eating at Texas Roadhouse again. I feel bad for what happened to you, honey. I really do. You should have left the minute you found the staples. I'm just saying. I don't understand why you're so upset that you didn't get the full meal comped the minute that the staples showed up. Bye. But you stayed to eat the food. You basically settled. I feel for you, though.
And that's the thing. When Maya brought it up to the wait staff, They weren't thinking, you know, anything of it, kind of being like, it could have been an accident, you know, just, hey, bringing it to your attention, there's staples in the roll. My 6-year-old bit into it, right? Crystal was going to, you know, had already said, oh, I'm going to resolve the issue. But I'm assuming Crystal went to Deanna, talked to Deanna. Then Deanna's like, no, we're not doing that. Then Deanna gonna come up to them, straight up lie. Like, just unprovoked lying. Talking about we don't even use staples at this restaurant. All Maya had to do was turn to the side and see a stack of papers that belong to Texas Roadhouse, look at the bulletin board, and guess what? It's staples. So now I believe that it was intentional, because it very well could have been an accident. You know, freak accident, shit happens, right? But the fact that you acknowledged it, and now you don't want to take accountability for it and just try to compensate, which is the cheapest and the easiest thing for you to do. You lied. Unprovoked. I don't even think they were trying to blame anybody, but you lied and tried to pin it on them bringing the staples into the into the restaurant so they can pay for it, so they can get a free comped meal. Why would they have the 6-year-old try to ingest metal quickly? That's a first grader or a kindergartner. So yeah, if I bring it up to you, and instead of you to just be like, oh, you know, I'm so sorry, we're gonna comp all your meals, you come up to me after it was already being resolved by Crystal and say, we don't even have staples, lie unprovoked, I'm gonna be like, now I think it was a scheme that Todd set up, because this was in Massachusetts. And listen, even Boston, I know there's a black population in Boston, but I know they racist as fuck over there. I know they racist as fuck. So what, this West Bumfuck Massachusetts? Oh, absolutely, I think you guys did it now. It was so much cheaper and easier to just comp the $80 meal. If you had comped it, Maya could have very well came on here and still made the video say, we found staples in the roll, but you know, they comped our entire meal. Just, hey, be careful. It would have been received differently than when Deanna came and threw water on a grease fire. And now, health department is coming. Police have been called, and now she done lawyered up. And corporate shot themselves in the foot by offering $70 gift card to the restaurant, like my kid didn't almost die. So you're admitting guilt. So yeah, you guys gonna pay out of pocket. And Deanna gonna come up off that job. Racism is so illogical. Now you're gonna have to find out.
She has made some responses because a lot of people have been on the story sharing it, which I think is important. And it's just, there's a clear answer. All that manager Deanna had to do was follow suit in what Crystal did, but also really care about the customer, the guest. Like, why would you not be concerned about staples, assume that the family or the daughter got into something, and make up a bold-faced lie about not having staples in your facility? Let's read some comments though, because this is an ongoing story. I might have an update with this, and it's an ongoing investigation. So, OMG, my fiance and I were at the table right next to you guys. We couldn't really hear much besides something about staples and bread, but we could tell something was definitely wrong. If you decide to sue, have us as witnesses.
I might have witnessed the actual craziest thing I have ever seen at a restaurant in my entire life last night. So right around 7:30 last night, my fiance and I got to Texas Roadhouse in Walpole, Massachusetts, and we're seated at a table, and almost immediately when we're seated, we can tell there's some sort of issue going on at the table directly behind us. The guests were a few women and a little girl that looked like she's probably 5 or 6, and we couldn't hear too much because the music was really loud, but we could hear a little bit, and from what we gathered, the little girl bit into a roll and there were multiple staples in the roll. Thankfully, I don't think the girl actually ate any of the staples, but Jesus Christ. And to make things worse, I hear what I assume is one of the managers telling them that they didn't have staples on the premises, aka insinuating the people are lying to get a free meal. Meanwhile, there's a girl at the table directly behind us with a packet listing all the menu items. And there are staples in that packet. To blatantly lie about something so serious like that is crazy and absolutely grounds for a lawsuit. But Texas Roadhouse needs to address this and work on their safety protocols, because this was absolutely unacceptable and completely avoidable.
How the staples get in the bread? You tell me, Deanna. I mean, true. I used to bake for Texas Roadhouse. That does not happen by mistake. There were staples in my food. There's no further conversation that needs to be had. Yeah, exactly. You could see that the staples were baked into the bread. It's not like someone put a staple in there and said, hey, there's something wrong with my food. You know what I mean? Because people do that, and I feel like they ruin it for times like this, unfortunately, when things happen. Sometimes people just complain about their food, or you even have people like plucking their own hair and putting in their food and complaining. It's like, really? Like, let's just be honest here. Those staples were baked into that bread. Even here, it's clearly baked in the bread, and Maya hearts that. Hi, former Texas Roadhouse worker here. There is definitely staples at their facility. They're all in that office, packs and packs and packs. Yeah. Because even though we're in a world where things are a lot more electronic or processed electronically nowadays, there's still some paperwork. Like, what? I work at Texas Roadhouse, and there are definitely staples in the restaurant. I haven't been to Texas Roadhouse in a while, but this says, my bill is always stapled together at Texas Roadhouse. Wow, I'm glad you're all reporting them. I'm sorry, but why are they so stingy with Texas Roadhouse money? When I worked in service, I did everything to make sure my customers were happy. I promise one comped check won't break the bank. We don't sue enough. This is unacceptable. Lawsuit. Girls sue. The evidence is there. Why is Deanna acting like this meal is coming out of her paycheck? Is Texas Roadhouse going to go bankrupt if they comp a meal for $3? Normalize making a police report and documenting everything. That is so important. I know sometimes people side-eye other people for documenting everything, whether they're traveling or whether they have an encounter with someone in public. But honestly, it does nothing else but save you. It provides evidence. So I'm really glad that Maya documented everything, even recording her interaction with the manager. Even though she had evidence of the bread and the staples, it's very important that she had the interactions with both managers, because most of the time people don't believe you and they're going to try to save themselves. So I'm really glad that they did that. I saw another post that Maya was saying, hey, we are longtime customers of Texas Roadhouse. We even call it the cow restaurant. This is our family tradition, which I thought was sweet. And she even shows this because I think people were thinking that she just went in that one time and that happened. And she's like, no, we go here a lot. So her caption says, just wanted to add some bits of my family's relationship as a regular at Texas Roadhouse. My sister has practically grown up here. We refer to it as the cow restaurant because when my sister was younger, she couldn't pronounce the full Texas Roadhouse and always called it cow because of the animals on the wall. These are some pictures over the last couple years. However, going to Texas Roadhouse is such a normal thing for us that I don't take pictures every single time we go. There are more times where my mom and my sister have gone without me or where I have taken my sister to eat without my mom. Nonetheless, we are paying customers. We did not sneak no staples in this restaurant, and we are looking for the staff to take accountability as they completely lacked empathy and tried to shift the blame on my family. And that's what's so frustrating too, because even if they weren't a regular, there's no question. There's staples baked into the bread roll. And you know what? I'm trying to think, does Outback have cinnamon rolls? Would Outback do this? I don't know. Because it's a staple, I also have to question, how would there even be those types of staples near where they bake things? Because, I mean, maybe if they staple the to-go orders, but still, you cannot say that there's no staples in the restaurant. You cannot accuse. Listen to the guest. This is clear cut. The customer or the guest is not being combative or trying to get a free meal or anything like that. They simply just told them what happened, had a concern, and then they were promised that this will be resolved. This is on us. This is our fault. And then they just get $7 off from their little sister's meal. Maya makes an update. She makes several updates.
Hey y'all, so this is a quick update video. I just wanted to post real quick before I make my way into the police station. I do want to let you guys know that all the commentary, all the support, all the reshares have been so greatly appreciated. If it wasn't for you guys, this video wouldn't have been seen, my voice wouldn't have been heard, and the pressure wouldn't have been on. And it's truly thanks to you guys that I got a phone call bright and early this morning from corporate, Texas Roadhouse. They were made aware of the situation, and I gave them all the details. I literally, at the time of the situation, I had my notes app open on my phone. I was documenting everything. Approximately this time, my sister takes a bite into this. At this time, we're greeted by this waitress. At this time, another manager. Like, you know what I mean? I have everything documented. I made sure to record to have our backs, and just it's just insane. For one, you're lying straight to our face. You're telling us you have 0 staples. 0. She was like, there is absolutely no possibility for a staple to have gotten in your bread. Okay, all right, let's just even backtrack from the 0 staples and just like, how is it that you don't have any staples, but we look at your bulletin board and there's things stapled all over that, and then there's an employee onboarding packet directly at the table across from us, directly. I can't even make this up. I have pictures of it. I don't care if they were looking at me sideways as I took pictures. You're not going to sit here and lie to my face or gaslight me. There's literally staples, and I documented it. Not only that, but the staples, if you guys seen in the video, and I will repost it because I know it was at the end, I should have put it in the beginning. But if you look in the video, if you take a good look at the staples, they are unused. Those staples have not punctured anything. They have not been put in paper. Those staples are in that perfect condition that when you take them out the box, that was not an accident. Like this, there is malicious intent behind this. So I do just want to give you guys this update to let you guys know. I appreciate you guys doing everything on the surface, but best believe I'm working hard beneath the surface. I have filed a complaint with corporate on their website. I have talked to corporate on the phone and filed a complaint. They did offer I think it was a $70 gift card, and they're like, of course you don't have to use it at the same location, you're welcome to take the gift card elsewhere. No, I don't. It's not about the money. It's not. I don't want your food. I don't know. Like I'm not going to be bought with a petty $70 gift card, babes. My sister's life is on the line. And to give you guys an update on that, my mom and my little sister Yanni are currently at the emergency room to have x-rays performed on Yanni. Just because there was no injury physically at the site does not mean that my sister couldn't have gotten, you know, like what if someone pricked their finger? What if the metal that had been on that staple had been contaminated or affected before it had reached the bread? There's so many things that both of these managers weren't even considering, and then their stories just weren't even aligning with each other. It was just bogus to me. So I really appreciate you guys being there for me and bringing all the attention to this. Best believe I'm digging deep. Police report, corporate complaint, the Walpole Board of Health is going to be on their way at 3 p.m. when Texas Roadhouse opens to conduct a full-on investigation. And we're getting the camera footage because this was not a mistake. Those staples were unused, and there was several of them. There wasn't 1, 2, I counted 5 staples. Imagine if my sister swallowed, and just because we don't know that she swallowed or didn't swallow one doesn't mean that she didn't maybe swallow a little piece of one, or maybe her teeth didn't feel it on the way down, doesn't mean it didn't get in her system. So we're praying to God that, you know, everything comes out right after this x-ray visit or ER visit. But Texas Roadhouse, I'm on that. You picked the right one. Yes, I presented myself in a calm demeanor when the situation was, you know, actually unraveling and taking place. And that's just how my mom raised me.
And I'm really happy that she said that they are doing an investigation, that Texas Roadhouse location, somewhere in Boston. If I find out the exact location, I'll put it here, but it is in Boston. They're gonna get audited, okay? They're gonna get checked out. And so that's happening. They are taking the little sister to get x-rays just to make sure everything's okay, because if you think about it, if she took a bite of it and the staple was in a mush of bread, you may not be able to feel that, or even just if it got stuck in her teeth or something and she didn't know. So they're getting that checked out. But this is an ongoing investigation, and
I do want to just say that I'm not going to discuss any legal actions that I am taking. I do want to acknowledge that all the reviews, all the comments, all the reshares, literally, I'm looking at the reviews and they're going on and on. I'm looking at Texas Roadhouse Facebook page, their Instagram page, and there's comments on every post talking about the staples, talking about the incident, and just bringing it to their attention. And I am so greatly appreciative of every single action that everybody has played a role in helping my video get out there. To me, it's not necessarily about the money. And I have come across some comments that were saying that this was well rehearsed and that, you know, it's kind of funny or odd that our bread was the only one that had staples. If you think it's odd, don't you think I think it's odd? Out of all people that would bite into staples, do you think I would wish that on my little sister? The comment, it just doesn't even make sense. Honestly, I'm just looking for accountability, like I mentioned beforehand. Deanna, I don't even know I don't even know how to talk about your service. That was just 100% not acceptable. Everything after you straight up lied to our faces, I can't even regard. I can't even take you seriously after the first thing you relayed to me was a lie. The very first thing that came out of your mouth after stating how did the staples get in there was that there's no staples on this premise. You basically started off your foundation with a lie. Therefore, you have nothing solid to work on. I just know that sometimes God works in mysterious ways, and that this is something that we are going to overcome, and God knows all truth. It's going to be told. They can check the cameras. In fact, that's what we want them to do. And as for an update on my sister, she did receive clear x-ray results, so there was no staple found inside nowhere, luckily. But that was literally by the glory of God. Like I said, she bit onto that staple. We are so happy that it did not get any further than just, the tip of her tongue and her teeth. It could have resulted in something way worse, and our concerns would have only been heard if it got to that point, which is unacceptable. There should not be staples, not even one or two, like I said, but there was 5 staples clumped together. If you think about something falling, like the first manager had explained, when she said that it could have been possible that a bag was opened and the staples fell, those would have been used staples. The staples found in my sister's bread were not used. They had not been used to secure anything. They have not been punctured in paper. They have not been used. So those stories can't even align. It does not make sense. Unused staples could not have been holding the dough bag. Those staples came from somewhere else, and they need to check the cameras. They need to check the cameras. I don't know what, Deanna, I don't know what you're trying to hide. I don't know what bonus you're trying to save, but come on, baby. There was also one other thing that I wanted to bring to you guys' attention. Yes, it did seem like Crystal was in the innocent. However, the reason that I wanted to make sure that her name was still included in the picture was because in that video where Deanna was basically stating, "Oh, I can grab Crystal if you'd like," and I said, "Okay," and then she said it again and ended up grabbing Crystal. Crystal had said, "Oh, I said that I could comp your order. I just need to speak to a manager first." However, that was never said. When she spoke to us that very first time we brought the bun to her attention, she said, "This is unacceptable. I understand you guys' frustration and your concerns. Your meal is going to be getting comped." She did not say anything about, "I need to check in with the manager before I comp your order." If you listen to the voice message when she said that, and my mom was like, "I don't recall," that's why I laughed. I couldn't even keep a straight face, because now I know that they're orchestrating back there. They're orchestrating what to say or what to say to not get caught up. But I got you on camera. I got you, Deanna. I got you, Crystal. Y'all lied to my face. You did not say that. You did not say that you needed to run anything through another manager. To our concern, you were the manager that we were reporting to. When we asked the random waiter that walked past, as soon as we seen the staples, we didn't even grab our waitress. We just grabbed a random guy that was walking. We were like, "Hey, we need to speak to a manager." He brought Crystal. We thought that was the manager. So she told us we were going to get a comped meal. We didn't think it was going to have to get approved by the next manager. We thought we were going to be receiving a comped meal. So again, now it's not about the comped meal. It's not about the comped meal. It's about literally taking accountability, and you guys put a child's life at harm. A child. And you guys didn't even have the decency to say, "I'm sorry"? We didn't even get an apology. Babes! That's literally what this is all about. And I'm thank you guys so much. Anybody who knows me can literally speak on my character. I would never, that doesn't even sound like me. Walking into a building with staples. My purse is filled with too many lip glosses and digicams to even hold staples. That's freaking crazy. But I really appreciate you guys. I have been nonstop seeing YouTube videos, people reacting, people resharing, people adding me, even people standing out for me, calling the place for me, and I know they're fed up. Guys, this is just the beginning. This is literally just the beginning. So like I said, I'm not going to disclose anything that we're doing from here on out. I will keep you guys updated once justice is served.
I think it's Deanna's fault, okay? But also, where is her line of thinking coming from? Is this something that leadership would do or not? I don't know. A $70 gift card does not equate to, "I'm concerned about the health of your little sister, and this should never happen, having staples in our bread rolls." That does not, those dots are not connecting. I don't think that is the same thing. And again, like Maya and her family have said, it's not about the money, but, "Oh, we baked staples in your bread and your little sister took a bite of it. Here's $70. You don't have to go to that location. You can go to any of our Texas Roadhouse locations. Don't worry." And mind you, that's after the fact. If they would have done that the night of that everything happened, I think it would be a different story. But that is just crazy. Texas Roadhouse responded to Boston 25 News and they said, "We are aware of the situation and are actively investigating. The health department visited the store today and their report states there are no signs of physical contamination in the restaurant, including the bread and kitchen areas. We take concerns like this very seriously and our team has been in contact with the guests involved." If you're actively investigating, why did you say that there's no signs of physical contamination? You could literally just say, "We are actively investigating the situation and are in contact with the guests involved." I would have liked to see we strive to provide quality customer service and safe hygienic practices, something like that. This response is 3 sentences. I think we could have gotten a little bit more or maybe some better verbiage going on. What do y'all think? What do you guys think of this? Have you ever ate something and there was something in your food, whether it's a hair, a nail, a staple, whether it's at home or from a restaurant? And then what happened? I've actually had a staple in my food before. It was one staple, and this is actually kind of crazy, and it doesn't mean anything now, but I was at someone's house and they made apple pie, and everyone else had fine apple pie slices and mine had a staple in it. And you know what? I don't even like apple pie that much, but I don't think it was calculated, but it was an in-law. So I'm like, how did that even happen? And then it got brought up and then they said that they don't know how it happened, but because when they bake and they use their island, but they also put postage and mail nearby and like some office supplies, that maybe it got in there. I don't know. This was over 10 years ago, but I do think that is kind of crazy. And also, I didn't like apple pie that much before then, so. But maybe it has left a lingering thought about apple pie, because I'm just like, apple pie? Give me a cheesecake or give me something with peanut butter in it. Give me a dump cake. Apple pie is just I don't know. What do you guys think about apple pie? Anyways, that's it for today's video, y'all. This is very serious, so I hope that Maya and her family get justice because, yeah, what the heck? But anyways, what do you guys think of this situation? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. If you don't, I just appreciate you being here, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!